Hello, I'm Ari Castleton. I'm the storyboard supervisor on the Loud House, and we're going to be drawing Luna Loud today.
1, 2, 3!
So Luna's head, and I usually start with the heads. It's not just a normal circle like some of the other sisters. It's kind of like a bean shape. So what you do is you draw like one circle for the top is kind of like where her forehead's going to be. And you draw another circle on the bottom where like her chin's going to be like that. And then after that, we're going to draw two construction lines that kind of go down both of these circles. And the construction lines, they just help us figure out where we're going to put like the eyes and everything of the character. Usually down the middle of the face is where like the eyes, the nose, and the mouth meet. So that's where we'll kind of like put that in. So you'll see there's this line that kind of follows both of these circles. And then we'll just draw another line that goes right through it. So after you have the head shape down, we're going to draw the eyes and the mouth. So Luna just has these circular eyes that kind of meet right where the crosshairs meet. So you just kind of draw two circles there. And a little tip with drawing eyes on the head, if you want them to kind of be leaning forward or backwards, you can kind of push the eyes in that direction too. So if you have the eyes do this, you can kind of tell her head's leaning this way. And if you have the eyes doing this, you can kind of tell the head's moving that way. The eyes are always what are kind of leading the character's expressions, because that's the first thing we as an audience kind of look at. So we're going to have her leaning forward and just have, she has these, we're going to give her like half eyelids just because she's really cool and she wants to look the part.
Something has to be done about your duds.
She has a little pointy nose, and she has 3 freckles right there, kind of like Lincoln. Then she has 2 eyelashes off the side of her hair. And then for her hair's a little like messy on the top, but it mostly follows the shape of her head. So you want to draw the 2 little calyx off the side here on the top of her head, and then just kind of follow the rest of just above the drawing of the circle. You can draw little tufts of hair that kind of go down until it gets to like her forehead. And then she has these bangs that are just like really just bushy because she's a rock star and she don't care about that hair. And then you just draw the rest of the side of her hair. Just kind of tucks in behind her ear. And you'll kind of see the ear lands right where these 2 circles meet. So that's kind of why we put those in. They help guide us. And I've drawn Luna for about 4 years now, and I always start with an underdrawing still, because there's a lot of detail to these characters and you want to make sure you get it right. Cool, so just give her little eyebrows right here, just a little sly smile, because she's cool like that.
So much better.
Whenever you have the head, you want to make sure the feet are going to be underneath the head at the end of the pose, because if they're not, she's going to be kind of leaning forward or backwards. So you want to make sure you distribute the weight evenly. It's one of those things that'll really sell your characters and your drawings to look almost lifelike, even though they're cartoons.
Dude, that makes total sense!
So I'm going to just have a slight curve in her body. It's kind of drawing a little line of direction that just kind of helps me figure out where I want my shapes to kind of lie on in the overall character design. I'm going to kind of draw her boots down here. Cool, so once you have that like tube of a body like going down the middle of it, what you want to do is put kind of like where the legs would meet the hip. You just draw like a little, it's usually halfway through it. You just draw a little line right there. Then Luna has this kind of plaid skirt, and that kind of draws right above and below that midline. So what you do is you draw a line there, line at the bottom, and you just start drawing a little checkered pattern like that. It's like her skirt. Cool, and after kind of looking at it, I think I'm going to change the foot so it's less, stuck on the floor here, and just kind of push it out a bit, give the character a little bit more flow. Cool. After kind of looking at it again, you can get rid of parts of drawings that you don't think look right. It's kind of why we do an underdrawing. So just kind of find the parts you think you want to fix. And cool, I think her legs are looking okay right there. She has her boots here, so I'm just gonna draw little lines here. All right, so Luna has a pretty raggedy t-shirt just because she goes to like so many concerts and she rocks out super hard.
Stage time!
So draw little like rips off the side of them, where her arms and like her head comes through her shirt. She has this little skull. It's the coolest shirt ever. It's a purple shirt that has this little skull on it. I'm gonna kind of give her this like sassy arm at the hip kind of thing. Just to kind of even out the pose, because we have a lot kind of going on this side. I kind of want to put some stuff on this side too. Sweet, and then because she's a rocker, we'll kind of give her the goats. She never stops rocking. Their arms, they're pretty skinny and they kind of bend, but you don't want them to be like too sharp like that. You just kind of want them to just easily bend as if they were like straws almost. Bam, that looks good. Cool, so for the hands, she has like these little bracelets on, just put those there. Cool, so when you're drawing the hands of the Loud House, imagine there's like a circle here and they only have 4 fingers. So you just gotta kind of account for that. So you draw like the pinky, the middle, the pointer, and then the thumb, like that. You just kind of base that all off that original circle.
It was in that moment I realized I was Luna Loud!
Can't forget her little back tuck here. Sweet. I guess we can move on to the inking part of it. Let's do that. Get a nice, clean, black line brush. That looks pretty good. We're just gonna go over it. So for her eyelids, I like to kind of curve the eyelids a little bit just because eyes aren't exactly flat. They have like a circumference in them, they're spheres. So when you draw an eyelid, you don't want to just go straight across. You kind of want it to curve a little bit. Just gives your character a little bit more depth and a little bit more realism. And that stuff can really push your characters to the next level. All right, she has a very small neck, but that goes into the like tear of this t-shirt. And it's good that we did this under drawing, because now we don't really have to think about where these drawings are gonna go, but just kind of how we want to design them on top of that. So I'm gonna kind of go for the clothes first and then the legs. And again, these characters are made of, you know, 3-dimensional shapes almost, where imagine her body's kind of like this like cylinder, like that. And if there's a line that goes through it, like for the skirt, you'd kind of want to curve it a bit. And it just kind of shows that she's angling herself that way, as opposed to it just being flat. And there's no real dimension to it. The sisters' legs, they usually start thinner on the top and they get bigger as they go down, just really slightly. They don't need to be like these big triangles or anything, but just really one side is flat and then one side, as it's going down, it just kind of opens up. Since she's wearing boots, it's just something to keep in mind. You can just imagine that her legs are kind of opening up at the bottom there. I want to make sure I'm still following that line of action that's going down. Boom, boom. And it's okay if you need to do this a couple times to get it right. Sweet. Then I'll just draw a line here for the top of her boots. So we want to make sure we're anchoring her down correctly to the floor. You don't really want to just draw feet like however, because how the feet are angled are gonna determine how she is like on the floor. So if we draw the feet like this, we can imagine she's kind of like floating up like that. And that's not something we really want to go for with Luna. So we want to make sure for, let's say one of her boots is like that, we want to make sure the other one is kind of on that same ground plane. So if you imagine, like if you drew a line here, the heel of each boot would kind of meet at that line. So after that, you just draw a couple X's here for her boot laces, probably just 3 X's. And draw a little shadow underneath her skirt. So that's where her legs are coming from. There we go. And you can just add little shadows here where the arms and the legs are sticking out just to give it a little bit more depth. Sweet, and if you just turn off your underdrawing, and that's how you draw Luna Loud.